photograph's purpose to me is to kind of convey the emotion and the feelings of the scene of where you were when you captured that shot. And so sometimes raw, right out of camera, especially if you're shooting in a raw format, when you get it onto the computer, there's definitely processing that needs to happen. And there's, great discussions as far as what's too far, what's, not far enough. Should we, edit less, edit more, whatever. And that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to let you in on a little secret that I have that helps me convey that emotion, that feeling that I had at the time that I snapped that photograph. And I say it's a secret. The only reason I call it a secret is because not many people are using this tool. So there's a company called Skylum, S-K-Y-L-U-M, and they produce some software that's really amazing. Don't get me wrong, my main platform for editing photography is Lightroom and Photoshop. However, I find that almost every photo that I edit nowadays runs through this plugin / program. You can use it both ways. This program has a few features that really separates itself away from the competition like Lightroom and Photoshop. The program is not intended to do the same kinds of things that Photoshop is. This program is so good, you could use it in place of Photoshop and Lightroom almost completely. Let me show you what it's all about. All right, so we start at the website, and that's skylum.com, SKYLUM.com, and they make the product Luminar. They also make other products. I don't have any experience with them, but since I've had such great results with Luminar, I may be back here to kind of check out their other stuff. So if you click Luminar, it'll tell you a lot about the product, and there's a sale going on right now, 15% off. This is the package I bought right here, is the basic package. This package gives you the standalone program, and it gives you the plugins for both Lightroom and Photoshop. You can check that out. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just simply showing you a tool that I use to get much better work and more efficiently. So this is one of their main things, their Accent AI. It's one of the tools I'll show you here in a second. It's absolutely phenomenal. They have all kinds of different features. You can kind of go through this and see if you can come to a conclusion whether you're interested in trying it or not. This is their Accent AI again, another example. They have a sky enhancer, which, really does a phenomenal job. I'll talk about that a little more in a second. And a foliage enhancer. So this one, especially in the fall and spring, really gives you some pop in the foliage. And so it just uses very intelligent AI technology to analyze a photo and then create images based on those certain types of edits that you're looking for. And, the more you work with this program, the better you get at it. This is something I haven't gotten to yet, and this is the ability to erase objects in a photo. I have not worked with this in Luminar, but if it does work this good, after you practice with it a little bit, you're really going to eliminate your need to jump over to Photoshop almost completely. Let me show you how this program works. We're going to open Lightroom up and select a photograph to work with. It's going to be straight out of camera, and I'm going to show you my workflow. Here's a photograph right out of camera. The first thing that I do is I crop it. I just like the crop feature inside of Lightroom and get the ratio that you want. The nice feature is changing the angle. You can change the angle very, very easily. I just think they have a wonderful crop feature. So that's why I start out in Lightroom, get my crop correct, and then I go up to Photo, Edit In. And if you installed the program properly and installed the plugin inside of Lightroom and or Photoshop, it's going to appear right here. And so you just go and edit a copy of this photograph with whatever adjustments you've made in Lightroom inside of Luminar. This video is not designed to give you all the details about all the possibilities inside this software. It's simply to show you the ones that I have gotten the most impact out of and kind of see how the program works. And so then you can make a decision as far as whether you think it might be something suited for you. So once you get inside of Luminar, this is what you're looking at. And you can go about this a couple of different ways. You can go and add specific filters to your workspace over here that you know you're going to want in this edit. And in fact, you can, if you know you're going to use them all in most of your pictures, you can save that as a workspace, customize it, get it just how you want it. And then that's what will pop up when you first enter Luminar. They have different workspaces already created for you. You can pick one. But let me show you what I do, and this is just me, but I go down here and you can select from this little drop-down menu or pop-up menu, and this gives you a collection of different edits already brought up in your workspace that create different pre-edited images. So I usually stay within the essentials, but you can go to landscape, and then it has pre-edits here that it thinks is tailored towards landscape photography. I just really like the essentials tab. It's, simple and basic. And then what I do is almost always I go to this AI image enhancer, click it, and wow, look at the difference. So you can go to the slider if it's too much for you and slide it back to whatever you want. Usually between 40 and 60 is where I stay, but it's a preference. So you can see it without it on, and you can see with it on. I'm gonna leave it up to 100%, just so you're viewing this over YouTube. I just want you to be able to see as it's coming across on the computer what this program is really capable of. And so over here is your basic edits that it's already adjusted, and we won't go through any of these. I mean, you know how to handle these if you've done any photo editing at all. But the ones that I want to touch on are the ones that have the biggest impact for me, and that's this Accent AI Filter 2.0. Oh my gosh, this is it's a game changer. And I don't know all the technical sides of this filter, but I can tell you it targets the shadows or the darker areas, and it just brings so much dramatic intensity and detail back to those areas. If I turn this off and I just go attack the shadows, you just don't, it slightly increases the shadows. But this AI filter, I mean, it just does so much. This is truly a game changer filter here. And it usually, no matter, and it works best in dynamic scenes. But it's one of the filters that I use this program for pretty much specifically and solely. The sky enhancer is another one. And so if you look at this sky up here, I'm going to drop this sky enhancer down to 0. And you can see we got a bit of a hazy, cloudy type day. But when you add this sky enhancer, see that? It adds contrast. It adds detail. It makes the sky pop. And it does this on almost any sky that has any type of, dynamic issue going on as far as clouds. It really works just miracles to make the sky a huge part of the photo. And in landscape photography, that's a big deal. And so the other filters you can go here. One of the cool ones is fog. And, I won't go through them all, but down here, when you click and edit, it'll pop up down here, and it'll usually have some options. So dark fog, you can add however much of that you want to. You can see how that works. And here's another major piece of this program. You can add your edits in with brushing them in with a radial mask, with a gradient mask, or with a luminosity mask. That's right. You can use luminosity mask and brushes and these different features to help work incredibly locally. And in landscape photography, that is really important. So this is just a well thought out piece of software here. If you want to turn your, you got your fog on, you want to see what it looks like without it, you just click your eyeball, turn it back on and off. If you don't like it, click the X and it's gone. Another really awesome edit is the sun rays. Where's the sun rays? I think I'm looking right at it and can't find it for some reason. Oh, here it is right here, sun rays. All right, so I click sun rays. It brings up all the options, but look what it did. It put a sun in the picture. Now, the main thing I want you to see here, you can move the sun around, but watch as we drop the sun down. It went behind the mountain. I mean, that's absolutely incredible that, this program is that smart. And, it works better in some photos than it does others. But what you can do with this slight enhancement, you can adjust all the rays and the sun itself and the penetration. I mean, just so many different options. Sliders make it really easy to add this sun ray effect. You can take the sun off screen, and so all you're getting is the rays. Just imagine doing that in Photoshop. It's going to take way more time. This gives you probably a better result in just a fraction of the time. I use the HSL in Lightroom more because you can display all three, the luminance, the saturation, and the hue at the same time. Okay, so the main edit that I use inside of Luminar, and that's, to be honest with you, I just haven't had enough time inside of Luminar to really take advantage of all of these. I just went after the ones that I know really suited what I was doing, but there's probably many features that I have not unlocked as far as what they can do for me yet. Dodge and burn, right here. Click dodge and burn, and it's going to come up down here. And again, you can selectively apply your results on this slider here, but I would do that after you're done. Click start painting, and then up here at the top, you can change the strength, just like in Photoshop or Lightroom, the strength at which you're applying the dodging and burning, the size of your brush, which you can also control just like in Lightroom and Photoshop with the bracket keys on your keyboard, and then erase, darken, and lighten. So just a quick example here. Let's lighten the front side of this mountain and start painting. There we go. Front side of the mountain. Now, what I've found is sometimes it's a little bit laggy just on a couple of features, and dodging and burning is one of them. So, you saw my mouse out ahead of the edit. Let me turn this sun off so you can kind of get the real feel for this. And so that fast, I've got the front face of this mountain looking wonderful. I'm going to go back down here, click start painting again, click darken, and now I'm going to paint the back half of the mountain. And this might be a little intense. I'm obviously not trying to do a good job here. I'm just trying to show you what the tool does, and then you can use the slider to kind of hone in on the exact result you're looking for. Really amazing tool. I think it's one of the best tools on this program. There's several that are all, right there at the top. So from here, guys, once you get your photo done with all the edits, and the only way you can learn all this is just dive in and do it. But when you're done, click apply, and it should take us back over to Lightroom after it processes the image. And bam, just like that. Up comes into our catalog the new image from Luminar with the edits we made. And you can go through now your Lightroom, your typical edits in Lightroom if you want to. The only things I really need to do are I hold my shift key down and double tap the highlights, double tap the shadows, double tap the whites and blacks. And just to see where the differences are and what Luminar thinks is best and what Lightroom thinks is best, and then I just adjust those a little bit according to my taste. And so Lightroom has a new texture slider, brand new. You can play with that a little bit. You can see it just adds a lot of detail. Nice slider. So Clarity kind of does the same thing. Dehaze is something you can do in Luminar, but you can do it right here if you want. You can do as much as you want in the two different platforms. While you're getting used to it. For me, what I'm finding is I'm doing most of my editing in Luminar and then coming back into Lightroom just to kind of fine tune things. And my curve, I usually do that right here. And it usually looks the same almost every time. But I do like my HSL sliders in Lightroom, and that's because they're all right there in your face. Sharpening you can do on either platform. I like the sharpening in Lightroom because you can mask it in. If you hold the Alt and Option, slide that masking slider, you can target just the areas you want with the sharpening. And so that's pretty much it. I encourage you to check out Luminar. This is not a paid video, not a sponsored video. I don't get any money or anything from them. I simply just want to show you the tools that I'm using to help my workflow be more efficient and help me produce better work. I really appreciate you sticking around for the whole video. I hope you got something out of the video, and I hope you have a really wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time.